Dr. Cemal Elezagic. He joins us from Montenegro today. Hello. He was a master student at the University of Applied Sciences in Bonn-Rhein-Sieg. That's the university in the west of University of Applied Sciences in the west of Germany. And he knows, for example, how it works if you want to do your PhD at the University of Applied Sciences, but he can also give you an insight how it is to do research there, about campus life and some insider information from the point of view of a student. He recently received his doctorate from the University of Cologne, actually, so congratulations for that. We are also joined by Professor Anand Patel. He works at the, he joins us from Bielefeld today, where he works at the Department of Engineering and Mathematics. He can give you information also about the conditions when doing research at the University of Applied Sciences, because he's a very research active professor. And in the registrations to this webinar, there were many questions about how to contact a professor too, and of course he can also give you some information about this from his point of view. Last but not least, we have with us today Dr. Katja Simons. She's the Executive Director of Campus East Westphalia-Lippe, or in short, Campus OWL, from the New York office. Campus OWL is a network of 5 higher education institutions in East Westphalia-Lippe. And Katja Simons can give you information about doing research at the Universities of Applied Sciences of this network, but also, of course, more general information. So if you have questions about that, you can also ask her. My name is Anne Knab. I work at the German Academic Exchange Service in Bonn, and I'm the moderator of this webinar. So before we really start, a few technical information. You can ask questions in the chat. We will try to answer all of them. If there are many questions, it's possible that we won't be able to answer all of them, but we will give our best. If you have very subject-specific questions, it will be difficult for us to answer them. So more general questions that are interesting for most of the audience are easier to answer for us. In the end of this webinar, there will be a short survey that would be great if you could answer this. And now I would also like to start with a short survey, because I would like to know, or I would like to have some more information about your current career stage. So I will just open the survey now, and it would be great if you could answer it. Okay, there are many graduates and PhD students, and also some undergraduates. So I think we have information for all of you. And I think we can just keep this open for a while. And I would like to start with the first question. Just for having the information that everybody needs to know on a webinar about Universities of Applied Sciences. What are Universities of Applied Sciences? Katja, could you give us an explanation of, or an answer to that question, please? Oh, we can't hear you. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anne, and hello everyone out there in the big wide world. And yes, I would like to answer the question, what are Universities of Applied Sciences? So let's start with some general information. In Germany, we have over 420 officially recognized universities, and we have mostly public universities. There are some private ones. We today represent public universities and universities of applied sciences. But we have in Germany different types of universities. We have universities of applied sciences, and we have also colleges that specialize in music, art, or other fields like education or administration. And in our case now, universities are institutions that offer more practical and more theoretical knowledge, and they are more academically oriented. And then within this category of universities, there are also technical universities, and they have more of course, as the name says, technical focus. And now universities of applied sciences, they are known for practice-oriented academic courses, and they focus more on professional application than on theory. But you can study there, and there are more, I have to say that we have more universities of applied sciences in Germany than traditional universities. We have about over 200 universities of applied sciences, and in Germany you say Fachhochschulen or Hochschule für angewandte Wissenschaften, so they're different kind of terms for them. And as I said, they focus more on the practical application of your study. You do also, if you study on a bachelor or master level, you often also do that with some very practice focused, also in combination with companies. And since you are also here to learn about doctoral degrees, you can also earn a doctoral degree in cooperation with universities at the University of Applied Sciences, but we'll get into that later on.
Okay, so you spoke about technical universities too and universities of applied sciences. Could you perhaps explain the difference between these? Because universities of applied sciences also have technical subjects. Sometimes,
that's correct. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's correct. So universities of applied sciences focus also on engineering, technology, economics, social work, or health. These are the main fields, I would say, at universities of applied sciences. And technical universities are within the category of universities, and they offer engineering. That's their main difference to the universities. And the difference between universities of applied sciences and technical universities is, as I mentioned, the focus of universities of applied sciences really on the practice orientation, application, and technical universities are more into, if you look at the research they do more basic research. Of course, they also cooperate with companies, but the main difference is application. Maybe Professor Patel wants to add a little bit to that?
No, but perhaps you can add Professor Patel, because I know that as a professor at a University of Applied Sciences, there are special conditions that reflect the approach to practical orientation. So you have usually to have work experience abroad. So perhaps you can say something about that.
It's actually a very interesting question, and it's a political question as well. What's the difference between the technical universities and the universities of applied sciences? And to a real expert, the answer is not so very easy to find. But I think what rings true to me is that the time when students have the first contact with companies comes much earlier at the University of Applied Sciences, and is not a part of the teaching and the philosophy of technical universities. I think that's one of the major differences. If you're really eager to look into companies at an early stage, the University of Applied Sciences is your thing. And I would also agree that the amount of research in technical universities is sort of more into basic research, but I would also know colleagues from technical universities who would strongly disagree. So it's sometimes very hard to totally generalize. If you want to generalize, maybe technical universities do research also on novel prototypes and stuff with more degree of novelty maybe and less optimization involved. And what was the other part of the question?
As a professor, as far as I know, you usually have to have work experience abroad from university.
All right. Oh yes, that's again more first related to the teaching part of things that the university professors are not required to come from practice. Sometimes they do, but most often they don't. While the professors at our universities of applied sciences have to come from a field outside of academia. And that strongly reflects normally on the way they teach, the way they guide, the way they supervise, the language they use, and the way they inspire the young people, I would say, is a difference. And I do think inspiration is a good wording here also, that if you're a good professor at the University of Applied Science, are proud of what you're doing, you really inspire your young people to seek out public-private partnerships, maybe less than in a technical university.
Okay, thanks. And before I have a question for Gemma, I would just to go a bit deeper into this topic, because it also shows that there really is a strong connection between universities of applied sciences and companies. So how does this work? Is it possible to sum it up with a few examples, or is it so different that you can't explain this? So the question is, how does it work, the cooperation between universities of applied sciences and companies, Professor Patel?
The most common situation is on the level of PhD students, and the most interesting also, and the most challenging. And these are also my favorite research projects, where we have an interesting research and development topic, and we join forces with companies to, for instance, develop a solution for a problem that the companies have. And I would also like to add, because I have to speak for all professors of University of Applied Sciences, it's not only about companies, it's about society in general. So what we really try to do, and that is really different from technical universities, we try to find solutions for challenges of modern day society. So we include also points of how do hospitals work, how do kindergartens work. It's not only about making money and making nice products and processes in industry, it's much more than that. It's really a strong and close contact society. And one example would be, for instance, a research project for 3 years, where we employ a PhD student, and we have one company partner, and we have a product that has to be developed, a product candidate that has to be new to fulfill criteria for PhD students. And we have meetings with the companies every 3 months, and they advise us and guide us, and the young people get to know how do company people work and think. But at the same time, they get an idea on how does research and development work. It's sort of a little bit the best of both worlds. You get ideas of research and ideas of how companies work. And in a perfect world, you can choose afterwards. Do I want to go for the crazy research, or do I want to join a company? That is sort of the best option that you can give.
Sounds like a good option for somebody who hasn't decided yet where to go, but who is interested in either doing research or working at a company, right? So, Gemma, I would like to ask you if you have something to add to these informations, and also what's your point of view, because you know universities and you know life at a University of Applied Sciences. So how did you experience the difference between these two institutions?
Hello from me as well. Hello everyone. Well, I can only agree with Ms. Simons and Professor Patel that in the University of Applied Sciences, it's much more close contact of the professors and the students. So it's much smaller for once, and you have the feeling that the professors really do care, and they really take care of everyone individually. And the company ties I experienced as well during my studies at the University of Applied Sciences, where there were a lot of opportunities to do an internship or a master's thesis in a company, which of course is a great thing. And in general, so I did my master's in the University of Applied Sciences, and looking back, it was definitely the best decision, because it gave me much more than what studying in a big anonymous university would give me.
Okay, Yeah, that sounds also really good. So I think the answer I had in mind, why doing research at the University of Applied Sciences, is already answered. um, so, Professor Patel, you were talking about the possibilities of doing a doctorate at the University of Applied Sciences. So I know that usually you do it in cooperation with the university, right? And so if you do it with a company and the university, there are 3 institutions involved, right? So, but that's the way you do it. And
Yes.
in your field, is it common? I mean, there are, I think I asked the question in a different way. So it is possible to do a doctorate at the University of Applied Sciences. And for somebody who wants to do this, what can you recommend to this person, perhaps as a first step?
That is a very complex question. It's also the most common question for anybody who wants to go for PhD. I think first, I think Google. There is a huge amount of information on how to go for PhD. So, right? Okay, so that's the first thing, you prepare. It's the most important thing, to prepare in general. Second, I think, treat this as an application for a very important job at a huge company. And when they contact a professor, be aware that you're applying and that you want to advertise yourself. So you can also Google on how to write an application. The most common mistakes people do is they don't know how to write an application. There are many blunders when they make contact. And I think this applies for the academic office, exchange office, or the professors, or anybody. Most expressions of interest seem to be a little bit how to put it, what's an English word? They're not thoroughly thought through. Let me put it that way. And I saw many. I checked through all the questions that I was given here beforehand. Many questions were around this topic, and I wonder how to give a very quick answer to that. I think one part is to just Google it and stick to the rules that are available there. And then I know maybe looking back on the emails I'm getting from India, from China, from African countries, from South America, where everybody wants to apply for a job here. And what are the criteria where I feel, oh, this is an interesting request, and I feel like, oh my God, another request. I think one of the big differences can be explained by John F. Kennedy. And that is, don't ask, don't ask, what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. And the same applies for when you want to apply with a professor for a PhD position. You check him out, and you make him an offer he can't refuse. Mm-hmm. That's the idea. Okay. That's the idea. And think about that a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's a very good tip to everybody who wants to contact a professor. So, I assume you get many emails, and the people can offer you have to be visible to you at the first moment. If it's not in the topic of the email, it must be visible in the first sentence, probably, right? So, that's I think that's what most people don't know, how to contact a professor. About finding positions, I also have a recommendation. Barbie, I think she will post or already posted it here. It's the Jared website. It's a database of research institutions, and there you can find also universities of applied sciences in your field. So that would be another way finding institutions that do research in your field and contact the people directly. Do you want to add something to this question, Katja?
Yeah. My microphone is on. Thank you. Yes, I would like to add that in Germany you have the option to do an individual doctorate or a doctorate in a structured program, and that's a different approach. So you could either look for open calls for doctoral programs, graduate schools. There are different names for programs in Germany, but in the past years, decade or more, Germany institutions have developed structured programs similar to those you find in the USA, in Canada, or in other also European countries. But the majority in Germany still does a doctorate in an individual fashion, and that's where you really have to find your supervisor directly and contact them. And here you really have to do your research beforehand, before you contact the professor or the PI, and really know what she or he does work in, and if it matches your interests, and then really show the person that you've done research and you're really interested in why you are the right person to do research in her or his lab or office. And then you are also at University of Applied Sciences. You have all these umbrella organizations or roof organizations that are called graduate centers or doctoral programs that kind of structure also individual doctorates by offering doctoral candidates different kinds of mentoring, coaching, services, professional support, career support. So you're not alone, even if you're maybe doing an individual doctorate within a lab for professor, or, but you really are part of a group, and so there are different options. But sometimes you find a call for open positions, or you look for a supervisor, and then you have to approach the person with your expose and your email and all that.
That's really a very important information, because that's something that that's different in Germany and in other countries too. And this way you just have more opportunities if you try both ways, if they are okay for you. Does somebody of the panelists have something to add to this question? Yeah. Okay. Tell me. Yeah.
Maybe just a small addition. So when I applied for my PhD position, it was I emailed the PI, and what I think is really important as well is another aspect of the PhD position is the teaching, which is being done. So a lot of PhD students teach in their institute, whether it's the University of Applied Sciences or another university. So if you have any experience in teaching or in the subject in which this institute is teaching, then I would definitely recommend to say this and to
Thank you. Okay. Professor Patel, you...
Yes, 2 points additionally came to my mind. There's a lot more to say about this whole complex, how to get started. One point is how do you, if you have no idea where to go, how do you find a good researcher? And the answer to that is the Web of Science, if you are in the natural sciences at least, and that allows you to look for publications. And then Google Scholar has come up in the past years, where you also can go looking for who is working in a subject that is of interest to me. It doesn't really help in the book of my life to look for universities in general. You need to look for the individual researchers and contact them directly. This is still the very much old school way that leads to success in my book of life. This is how I got my postdoc position at the University of California. This was one point, and the second point was a very important lesson I learned is I had a training on how to better guide PhD students. And the lady who guided the workshop made us professors think, what are the 5 most important skills you're looking for when you look through applications? And we collected that, and then we ranked that. And guess what were the first 5 points that came up to our big surprise? It was not the grades. It was not the it was not in your subject. Number 1 was enthusiasm. And the other 4 points were also, everything was soft skills, you know. And all applications that are sent never take into account that this is maybe what the professor is really looking for. He's not looking only for the grades. And the challenge is now How do you write an application that somehow makes sure that if you have such type professor at the other end, that this skills come across? That's hard to Google because that's not even the internet really. So it was an eye-opener for me, and that changed the way I screen for PhD students. And when we sit together and at the application round, we have a completely different way of selecting PhD students. I have guests who come just to watch how we select PhD students from other teams.
Okay.
It's crazy, very interesting. One day we have to write a book about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that it's probably also like this with many other professors, because passion is so important if you want to do a PhD for several years. But I also think that it depends on your writing skills of an application to be able to show this. But perhaps people can also find support. But I don't want to go too far away from the topic of universities of applied sciences. Nevertheless, this is really an insight that most people don't get the viewpoint of a professor, and I can imagine that there are many people or many professors who see it the same way. Okay, now I would like to go back to the more questions that are closer oriented to the universities of applied sciences. Anas Ali asked, how can a doctoral student at a University of Applied Sciences doing a PhD in cooperation with a university take full advantage of the university? So if 3 institutions are involved, how can you take full advantage of the University of Applied Sciences? Yeah, especially in the context of industry collaboration. So perhaps I understand the question this way, that if there's 3 institutions, where do you spend your time? How are you involved in the University of Applied Sciences? There are so many institutions involved. I don't know who feels like answering. Okay. Yeah, Katja?
Should I start maybe with a more theoretical view on this, and then maybe you could add? So I think the benefit of doing a doctorate in combination with a university and a University of Applied Sciences, and we call that a cooperative promotion. And the benefit of doing it at a University of Applied Sciences is to really have both perspectives. So when you do a doctorate with a professor at a university and your supervisor at the University of Applied Science, you get both perspectives. And so you can combine the more basic theoretical approach with more application-related research, and you can really get into the whole and benefit from the synergy of both university types. So that's, I think, my point of view, why it's really beneficial to do your doctorate at a University of Applied Sciences, and maybe my colleagues can now add, how do you do that? How does it look in practice? And when you do a doctorate, do you spend some time at the university in colloquia? Can you attend conferences there or talk to people? How does it look in the day-to-day life?
Yeah, I think I can give some insight. I love cooperative promotions. I love it. I like it that we share our ideas and that we work together on a common goal. It's great fun to sit together with a colleague and sharpen the ideas, and the student greatly benefits if the chemistry works. But that's most important, and that's the problem, and that's also the benefit at the same time. That you have to have people that are willing to share their ego and their ideas. If you have these people, it's a perfect tandem team, and it enhances the scientific and technical quality of a dissertation without a doubt, as opposed to a single gray-bearded professor of the old times who claims to know it all and to be the boss of a student or to tell them all, and more the mentor idea behind that. That's very common in the United States and unfortunately still uncommon in Germany, but we're getting there. I think that's a great benefit that the student not only depends on one professor but two, that he can play them both and get the best of both worlds, and then to add to the picture a company as well. Wow, what more can you have? You get it all. Basic research, applied research, and company contact. It can't get better than that.
Yeah. I think you also, you don't only like it when students are passionate, you're also very passionate yourself about doing your research. I think that's great. So does somebody have, Gemma, do you want to add something? Otherwise, yes, no? No, okay. Yeah. Because we were talking about PhD students for a while, but there were also questions about postdoc positions and also professorships, and no worries, we will get to that now. I will, as the next question, go to the postdoc positions. I can't see who asked these questions, but there was a question, are there postdoc positions at universities of applied sciences and also at your institution? Perhaps, yeah, all of you can answer this question. Let's start with Katja.
Yeah, I can start. I mean, postdoc positions are, like Professor Patel mentioned, how did he do it? He contacted somebody in California and at the university there and got in touch because he knew he wanted to work with this person and his team or her team. And for postdoc position, we all know they are not, all of them are not publicized. So you really need to know where you want to go. And then many professors actually have on their website the line, qualified, excellent applications for postdoc positions are always welcome. So they, and they usually also have, sometimes they have funding for you because they have a huge research project and they've just gotten a grant for and can add some postdocs to the team. So that's really a case, really important that you, again, as with an individual doctorate, you need to contact the person, and it's like a job application. You need to answer the question why you are the right person to join the team. And it's difficult. I saw him mentioning here in the comments that it's really hard to contact somebody for an individual doctorate or a postdoc. It's true, but if you know why you really want to join somebody, then it's manageable. And so not all jobs for postdocs are announced, so that's why you need to contact them all, and it's possible also at the University of Applied Sciences to get a postdoc position.
But does it differ? I mean, I think probably you also have to have industry, like with the professors, industry or experience from abroad, or is it only for professors at a university?
I mean, that guideline, yeah, having to, if you want to become a professor at a University of Applied Sciences, you need to have a 5-year experience, and three of these 5 years needs to be outside of academia most of the time, and you need to have professional experience because you will teach students about different applications of the study field of study. So that's important, but
that's a criteria only for professors. As a postdoc, you don't need to have experiences outside of academia, or how is it in this case?
It's always beneficial, of course, if you have some experience, but I don't think it's a criteria to have like a guideline, but it's flexible, and you don't get a permanent position. Of course, it's also nice if you could bring your own funding with you, and there's behind Anne you can see Research in Germany, and that's a great website, researchingermany.de, I guess, or .org, .de or .org?
.org.
Yeah, .org, and there you can find a long list of funding agencies. You could apply for a Humboldt Foundation's scholarship, for a DAD grant. You can make use of the German Research Foundation's funding tools. So there's a lot of instruments. There are a lot of instruments and tools for funding in Germany for international researchers, and Germany is really interested in gaining these people from abroad that come with new ideas and enthusiasm and their experience, and qualifications, and that's why we have so many tools in Germany to bring you to Germany.
Yeah, thanks for pointing this out. This is totally true, and this is also why we, for example, organizing events like this webinar, just to inform people about their possibilities here, because we are really interested in them. So, Professor Patel, I think you also wanted to say something about the postdoc positions, right? Or
yes. No, these are, I think I would keep that separate, postdoc and professorship. For postdoc, I couldn't agree more. What's behind your head? Research in Germany is very important to know for the people. I myself have applied together with postdocs for some DART funding, and it struck me that here we have to a little bit, and we will talk to DART about that in the future, readjust the funding programs, because we never had an option to really strike it big with our cooperations with companies. We had companies in Africa that were interested, and that was never a criterion. We felt, wouldn't it be nice, that we fund international public-private partnerships via DART, for instance, because this is the way we live. And we always compete with the classic universities with pure research proposals, and the reviewers are pure university professors, and then they discard us, although we have a much better solution for society, maybe. That's something that we can improve upon, but still I agree with Katja that there is a wealth of funding options. I'm always surprised, the money is literally on the streets. So the most important person for you guys out there is, have an idea. My experience is, an idea always finds you a job, sooner or later, somewhere in the world, and hopefully with us. Secondly, with regard to professorships, please do me the favor and apply for professorship positions in Germany. We are desperate. I mean, really, I know that for sure, that we need more and better applications for professors in Germany. We sometimes, and this is now I'm speaking sort of the truth, we have only one applicant that the suit seems suitable. I can only encourage you, just try, please. We need you.
Okay, so everybody who is capable and interested in becoming a professor really should do this. Perhaps I can add one thing, because there are also big funding programs from the government. One is called Research at Universities of Applied Sciences, and the other one is, I only know the German word, but it's a program that supports universities of applied sciences in finding more staff, and they have a big volume. The research at universities of applied sciences has 60 million euros a year, and the other is 431 million euros in 6 years. So the government is, I hope that's correct. That's what I wrote down here. So it's really a huge amount of money that's also invested in universities of applied sciences. Perhaps, we can send you the link to these programs just to prove it later. Ravi can do this, okay? Because just for showing you that government also invests in universities of applied sciences, and it means there will be some positions also coming from these fundings. I think Ravi just posted the link. Gemma, I don't know if you wanted to add something. You looked like you also wanted to say something about the topic postdocs or professorships. Is that correct or not?
So I can't say much about the postdocs and the professorship positions, but it crossed my mind about choosing the right PhD. Another thing which you can do to make sure that you have a good position and that everything works between your two supervisors is contact other PhD students in the group. And there are two ways to do that. One way is, if you go through Web of Science, it's normally the first author of the publication. So the last author is normally the PI, or the principal investigator, and the first author is normally another PhD student. So you can contact them, or you can contact them. You can find the contacts of the PhD students on the website of the the group. So normally nowadays, most groups have websites and the members are listed. So this is a good way to make sure everything is working fine between your two supervisors, because sometimes, although it's a great thing and you're mostly safe, sometimes there are some administrative difficulties. So just to make sure you're on the safe side.
Okay, thank you. That's really a very important point as well. So that's good to know. Okay, I'm just scanning the questions because there was, I think we already answered the question why to go to University of Applied Science rather than to a technical university. That was a question of Jessica Carlos. There are some subject-specific questions that are always difficult to answer because there's so many different universities. Oh, okay, some more practical questions. What about the language skills? If you're so interested in international scientists, especially professors, do they need to speak German? Perhaps Professor Patel, how is it at your institution?
Yeah, that's unfortunately a good question. Of course, the teaching, I just had a discussion today during lunch with my colleague from the social sciences, that we complained that still most of the teaching is in German. Some of us offer the teaching in English already, but the majority, and I think I speak for all universities of applied sciences, is more or less still in German. Some studies have now picked up, and I think my university has started a complete English course in Gütersloh, as far as I know, and I'm sure Bonn-Rhein-Sieg has done that too, and others as well. That is a matter of looking now with some magnifying glass on the university and check in more detail if they offer English-speaking classes. Language barriers certainly the biggest problem for professors, but my colleague has an.
Okay, Dr. You raised your hand, so.
I didn't want to interrupt. I was just gonna. So for those of you who don't speak German, I can definitely recommend the Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg. This is where I did my master's. All the courses, so most of the courses are in English, especially the ones in biology. So both bachelor's and master's, and the teaching is really conducted in the best quality. The labs and the lectures are all in English. So I had colleagues in my course, so most of them did not speak German. So to do a master's, you're fine with English, and also to do research, if you don't do teaching in German, you're also perfectly fine.
So what you
Sorry, I have to interrupt. The question was about professorships, and of course, teaching has happening not only in Bonn-Rhein-Sieg but in several universities. But the question is really, will the commission, where you apply for a job, accept English-speaking persons, even if the courses are in English, but still your everyday working language in the Fachbereichsrat or wherever, that may still be German. That is still a bit of an issue. But the only way, you know what I did when I applied for professorships, there's always a contact person. There's always, it is always, you know, whether you apply for a study course, PhD, postdoc, or professorship, contact that one person and ask him, what can you lose, you know? Ask him, would you, that's what I did when I applied in America. Is it okay if I don't speak the language or so, you know? It never hurts to ask.
Okay. And I think it's always, because there are more than 100, way more than 100 universities of applied sciences, it may differ from institution to institution. Often it's necessary, but not always. So I think it's just check it out, check the institutions out that are relevant to you and have a closer look and ask, of course. And don't give up before that, or don't even give up, but maybe possible. So, Katja Simons, would you like to add something to that question? How is it at Campus OWL?
Yeah, I mean, we have two University of Applied Sciences in our network, and one is the Bielefeld University of Applied Sciences, where Professor Patel is working, and the other one is UoAS, University of Applied Sciences and the Arts. And it doesn't hurt to know German, of course, but on the as Jean-Michel said, that it's on the when you study in Germany for a full degree on the master level, there are many English taught programs at universities of applied sciences. So here you don't have to prove a language skills when you apply. But of course, it's important to learn the language when you come to Germany. You will feel much more fully integrated, I guess, if you know some German. And I agree with Professor Patel regarding professorships. Also at German universities or technical universities, it's useful to know German, but it's still a hurdle, I guess, the language.
Okay, thank you. I'm scanning the questions again. There was again a question about perhaps I mean, I can just read it. Oh no! Before I go to that question, just a more practical question, because we haven't touched this topic yet, about the way of doing internship at the University of Applied Sciences. So we spoke about research as a PhD, postdoc, professor, but what about internships? Dr. Elizagic, he also wanted to say something. Was it about the topic before? Then perhaps just go ahead. Yeah.
So my brain has obviously a bit latency, but I was just about to say about the language. So even if your language isn't perfect, or if it's not sufficient, there are a lot of courses you can do at the universities. Also in the University of Applied Sciences, you can do a lot of language courses to improve your language. So even that isn't a reason not to apply.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have that much time anymore, and I think I will ask the question about the internships, then the more practical question about age, and perhaps about also again difference between PhD, University of Applied Sciences, and university. So the first question: internship at the University of Applied Sciences. How does it work? Can you do this at the University of Applied Sciences? What do you recommend? Professor Patel? Do you also accept interns?
Yes, I think I will just quote John F. Kennedy again, and then everything is said.
Yeah.
You know.
If you're interested in show why it's valuable to the professor, he is of course also interested in interns. And do you have funding for them as well?
I don't, but there are funding options that I normally, that a good contact point is the foreign exchange office, at least at my university, where I can always go with my problems. If I have somebody who's interested, I'm always only talking about my perspective, of course. It's also an option to really hit the university and see on a link of the foreign office to see what they offer. And I also hope our New York office also has some offers and helps on internships that I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, that's already answers the question. I mean, your point of view is what we want to hear. And Katja also wanted to say something about that.
Yeah, I would like to add that it's not that universities really offer internships in abundance. There are some options, of course. And some of these options are in connection with collaboration between universities and institutions abroad. So for example, in our case, Campus OWL, we have a collaboration between the universities in UoAS and universities, for example, in Canada, in Edmonton, and there we offer a program for students from Edmonton, and we have specifically for them, we have internship positions at companies in UoAS, and we have some great companies like Miele and all kinds of different high-performance companies in Ostwestfalen-Lippe. So that's how I know it. And then, of course, you also have the DAD. Anne is part of DAD, and they have a great program, and I think not only in North America, but also in other parts of the world. RISE is an internship program. Mm-hmm. And I think if you want to do an internship, you should look into these kind of offerings, because then you're not just you alone in somewhere, but you're really embedded into a program. You have funding and you get support.
Okay, thank you. Jamal Elizagati also wanted to add something?
I think another way to find an internship is, of course, to apply by yourself. So to actually, this is what I did one summer where I had some time off. I just applied to 30 different working groups and I waited for a response. So I asked for a voluntary internship to do for a couple of weeks. So you could just write a lot of groups where you think, okay, this work is interesting, or this company is interesting, or this university is interesting, and then hope that you get a response. So mostly you won't get a response, but if you write enough, you will get an internship. And even if it's not paid for this short amount of time, it will open doors to maybe a paid position in the future. So I would definitely recommend that.
Exactly. Again, the combination University of Applied Sciences with a company just opens many doors. And I think this also answers again the question, where's the advantage of doing research or doing a PhD at the University of Applied Sciences? It always depends on what you want to do. If you want to do basic research, I don't know, it's perhaps not, and you don't want to do have connections to companies, perhaps it's not the only option. It's never the only option, but the advantage of doing the PhD or research there is, between others, that you have contacts to many different institutes or different institutes. I don't know the word, but I hope it was understandable what I wanted to say, because I wanted to go back to this question once more because it was posted so many times. So we have, I think, 3 minutes left. I think perhaps I just go to a bit more practical question again. Was about the age limit. There was Victoria Lawe asking, does age be a factor for doing research at the University of Applied Sciences? So does it matter if you're like perhaps the age for applying for PhD or doing research? Do you ever look at the age of a person that's applying? Professor Patel, perhaps from your point of view?
Don't ask me. Let's say I will talk to everybody. Let's talk in general. In general, the political correct answer is the profile counts. That's so. Again, I'm repeating myself. You know that guy. You know from the US, John F. Kennedy. That's what counts. So that's what. Of course, the more you have in each criterion, the better. If you're all A grades and 25 years old and enthusiastic, you're the perfect PhD student. So if you have B grades but you're enthusiastic and you're 27 years, so okay, well, you can get in a gray zone. But I think try, believe, and go for it. We want you.
Okay, yeah, I think at least we can say there is not an age limit. There's nothing official. It's the total profile that counts. So there's nobody who says if you're not the typical age, doesn't work. Perhaps for some scholarships, maybe that there's an age limit, but not in general for finding a position. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have abolished age limits, but we have some different kind of limits regarding scholarships. For example, if you want to lead a group and get a scholarship, for example, from the German Research Foundation, you have the amount of time after your PhD has passed, that counts. So it can't be 10 years after your PhD. So they don't say you have to be 30, but they say you can't get this scholarship if your PhD is too long ago. So that's how it's regulated in terms of scholarships sometimes.
I think that's also for professorships, right? If it's too long after your PhD,
especially.
Well, allow me to answer that because
especially with regards to University of Applied Sciences, if you have spent time in the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, if you can. Okay. Go ahead.
No, just go ahead, and I mean you just. Yeah, and then Professor Patel,
You want to
I think
speak?
then I would end this round asking you for your final summary, but go ahead, and then Professor Patel can add something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just quickly, when you want to become a professor at the University of Applied Sciences, of course, it's the experience you have in your field also in outside of academia counts. So often, but you should correct me. The experience counts, and you can also come into becoming a professor as a at a University of Applied Sciences later in your career.
That was exactly my comment, that we are so desperate that we employ people who are 50 years old, even that, you know, so, I mean, not our university, but I keep hearing that, and you get special contracts. You even break rules that, you know, they find a way around that. That does happen now. So don't worry about the age limit, you know, just bring a nice profile, be enthusiastic, and show you want to make a difference. Welcome.
Yeah, I think that sounds great and really motivating. So for everybody, Katja, just...
No, I just want to add the special value of having that experience. I think that's what you're looking for, right? At universities of applied sciences, it's more this experience coming from outside of academia, having that experience and in being able to pass on your knowledge to students. I think that's why we're looking for people from all kinds of fields.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just like I said, that's, I feel motivated. No, if I was a researcher, I would apply. Now we only have 3 minutes to go. To the audience, after the webinar, we will publish a short questionnaire here, and it would be great if you could answer it before leaving. But now, thank you everybody for participating. And as a last question, I would like to ask everybody for their take-home message for today. So the most important tip you would like to give to the audience, and I'll start at the top with Katja Simons.
Okay, so we're here to help you, all these people, and also institutions like DAD, Research in Germany, and so on. But you're in charge of your own careers. You're the one in charge. You need to do your research regarding different options, and then ask questions when you need help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Patel.
Same but shorter. Be proactive.
Okay, wonderful. Dr. Elizagic, you take home message for today?
My most important tip would be tailor your application to the needs of the institute that you're applying to. There's no one-size-fits-all. Just tailor it and hope for the best.
Okay, thank you. My take-home message would be there is a lot of information also from the Research in Germany initiative, and I just recommend to look also for information there. We can help you with the first questions you might have about doing research at the University of Applied Sciences or in general in Germany, and we're looking forward to your questions. So once again, thank you to everybody, especially to our panelists. It was great to have you with us. And yeah, I think I can close the webinar now and go to the feedback form. So thank you and goodbye.